I fix it? I fixed it. Hello, chat. Hi. Hi, chat. Freaking. Mm, why is Spotify giving me such a hard time? Okay, alright, there we go. Hi, chat. Hello. How are you? Welcome, welcome. I feel worlds better today. Hi, Doki. Hi, Lee. I feel worlds better today. So I can finish what I was supposed to do yesterday today. I got really sick yesterday, so I was down for the count and I wasn't able to do anything. But all better now. I've got water for the sheer amount of reading I'm about to have to do. So, stream time.
What's
Healthier vampire, healthier vampire. I can eat now. I can eat food. I can eat. I can put food in my body and it not come back. It doesn't come back to greet me. That makes it great. Have you had food? I have. I had breakfast and I just ate like a snack while I was out taking care of some things. So I haven't had anything other than breakfast and snack. So snack is doing good. Breakfast was wonderful. Thank you for the hip pets. So I'm doing a lot better than I was yesterday, that's for sure. Much, much better. So, our last two Yandere games that I was gonna do for Yandares for Valentines was Mushroom Oasis and 14 Nights with You. So, I guess we can start with Mushroom Oasis. Don't forget, guys, these are demos. Don't forget trigger warnings because these are yanderes and they do things. Um, Also, AV fell in love with Hugo from the last game. You missed it, Lee. You were gone. You went to Betty Buys. AV didn't like either of the love interests from the kid at the back. He fell in love with one of the love interests friends. Like he was like, "Why can't we date him?" I'm like, "We can't date him. He's not one of the love interests." And AV's like, "Nah, nah, nah. We're gonna date that one." So that was hilarious. But anyway, I really like that um, thing. I think I'm gonna get some more off of from her, some more of her stingers. They're really nice. Okay, let's see. Mushroom Oasis. I believe there's only one love interest on this one. For good reason. For we shall see how it goes whenever the game decides to open. Oh, there it is. Okay. Are we hearing Kaiba live? Yeah. One of the boys came home and he's like, "Yeah!" So he's yelling at him. Okay. Mushroom Oasis. I know, it looks cute and friendly. And surely nothing can go wrong. So far, we've done a great job of not having the yanderes kill us or us get killed by a yandere. Oh, alright. Thanks, Sinribot. Good bot. Alright. I'm Scar. My cat. I don't have a cat. I guess we just named the cat after Kaiba then. Kaiba. And your cat is a male. Kaiba the cat. No! What kind of shit? Kaiba has been missing for a while now. No, I don't like it. Run that back. He was an indoor cat, but had the tenacity of a wild cat on a mission, trying to leave whenever the door was open. Oh my god. Catos and playtime just wasn't enough for the little mister. I figured he'd come running if I left out some food by the porch. 3 days later, still no cat. God, we lost Kaiba in the first few seconds of this game. Oh, how could we? I've tried everything I could think of. Asking around the neighborhood, putting up missing cat posters. Barely into the game. Sadly, nothing from my efforts. I couldn't search for him during the day since I had work keeping me occupied. And there's only so many hours in the evening I could yell around the streets looking for him. There's only one place left I could think of that he might have ran off to. The woods by my house, right across the street. I definitely caught him eyeing the birds and squirrels that ran alongside the perimeters from the front window, his teeth clicking in excitement. Oh, we're about to do a stupid, aren't we? I was no outdoorsy person by any means. In fact, the thought of going in there scares me. Yeah, like nothing goes wrong in the woods. But I had to find him, or at least try. Yeah, we're about to do a stupid. We're about to just walk into the woods. The first weekend that I came around, I packed up some water, Kaiba's favorite treats, and a compass to be safe. I wasn't sure where to even begin looking for him, so I started walking in a straight line, calling out his name every few steps. Oh my god. It certainly didn't take long for me to realize I was way in over my head. Dumb. Why did I think this was a good idea? It was hard to find my bearings within the surrounding trees. I didn't want to admit I was lost, at least not yet. I could only down at my compass as the needle spun slowly. Pretty sure they weren't made to do that. Did I really bring a busted compass on my first venture out in these woods? Shh. I figured that would just be my luck. The only thing risking my own safety was my own incompetence. I'm just going to be quiet. I shook my head hastily. No, no, no. No time for negativity. It's all the time for negativity because we were absolutely stupid to think this was a good idea. That cat went into the woods. Sorry, Kaiba. Goodbye. Kaiba was out there somewhere. Cold, lost, and hungry. I had to keep going. Oh, it's getting later in the day. Otherwise, I might accidentally get myself banned. I mean, probably not. It's been hours. I'm so lost. I don't even know why I keep searching even after the moment I realized that. Why did I think this was a good idea? Hunger has been gnawing at my stomach for a while now, having missed breakfast and lunch altogether. The heat and humidity from the afternoon sun was unbearable, but the cooling air did nothing to soothe me. Even if I were to head home, I couldn't even pinpoint where that was. Yes, the first good question from this MC. What do people even do in this situation? I knew it was baseless optimism, but walking onwards was really the only thing I could think of to do. Go home. Surely I'll come across something familiar. I trudged on, my shoes carefully avoiding the tree roots intertwined across the floor's floor. No, go home. But in my weakened state, plus the approaching darkness, I found myself stumbling through the rough terrain. My feet hit something soft jutting out of the ground. That My hand shot out as I lost my balance. My feet clumsily tried to find purchase as I wobbled backwards, arms flapping. Dang it. What? My shoe landed smack in a circle of mushrooms, the brunt of it causing a wispy cloud to erupt from the cluster. And this is how we die. Killed by mushrooms. End of the game. Goodbye. I stuck my nose in my elbow to avoid breathing it in. I couldn't differentiate one tree leaf from another for the life of me, but I'm pretty sure humans aren't supposed to inhale whatever the hell this was. It smelled strongly of rotten wood and wet dirt, even as it cleared. Something shiny caught my attention. I scooped down to pick it up, gasping under my breath. Scar, you don't want to know how much worse this is. What am I saying? It was Kaiba's collar. Oh, we found something. We got lost and we found something. Oh, that's something. Covered in whatever the hell those mushrooms released. I looked around desperately for any signs of him. Kaiba? Kaiba! Your cat is gone. I coughed from inhaling some of the remaining dust floating in the air. I should really steer clear from this. Sorry, he's gone. Pocketing Kaiba's collar, I retreated carefully until I could breathe again. Stepping back, I could still smell it. It must be stuck to my hair and clothes. A quick once-over confirmed my suspicions with a slight cringe. A thin yet generous coating of it covered my sleeves and jeans. I leaned against a tree, dusting off my clothes in naive attempt to get the dust and smell out, to no avail. If anything, it felt like I was breathing more of it in. What used to be musty now turned sweet, and I found myself inhaling deeper, trying to pinpoint the smell. Cucumbers? It smelled like fresh cucumbers. A tingly feeling crept up my hands and neck, pinpricks spreading across my limbs as the strange heat reached my face. We're dead. I started to feel drunk and woozy. My senses were numb. It should freak me out. And yet, a strange comfort washed over me. I should lie down. Right now, in fact. My legs gave out from underneath me, my body toppling over at an awkward angle. I laid there and stared and stared and stared. It was nice here. A peaceful calm. The perfect place for a nap, even. My eyes grew heavy as I swam in and out of consciousness. Yeah, a nap sounds really good right now. You've been poisoned. You bitch of an MC. You've been poisoned, you dumb bitch. Ooh. Oh. Lots of critters passing through lately. Sorry this happened to you, little one. It could have been anyone, but it had to be you. Hmm? Wait, a human? How did you end up all the way out here? Still breathing, too. Ah, jeez. I can't just leave you here. What should I do? I woke with a jolt. It was warm, but comfortably so. I could feel the weight of a blanket on me as I tried to sit up. I couldn't. I couldn't move my body. My fingers twitched uselessly at my sides as my eyes darted around in panic. Glancing about, I could see the interior of a cabin, or at least the ceiling of one. I couldn't see much past the corners of my eyes. Where was I? How did I get here? A desperate feeling rose in my chest. I had to leave. Right now. This was wrong. Wrong, wrong. I wasn't meant to be here. I could hear the crackling of a fire nearby, likely the source of warmth I had felt upon waking up. I could hear footsteps approaching. You're like, no shit. You're not supposed to be here. I shut my eyes quickly, hoping they hadn't noticed. I'm gonna pretend to be asleep. I slowed my breathing, willing my face muscles to try to stay still. From beside me, someone chuckled softly. I already know you're awake, Firefly. Come on now. I'm not gonna hurt you. Whoa. 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 Hello? I fluttered my eyelids, straining to look at the person approaching. My eyes widened as I took in their appearance. There's a nickname. The protrusions from their forehead catching my attention. Not to mention the green skin. The stranger didn't sense my unease as they heaved a sigh of relief. You're awake. That's good. Very, very good. How are you feeling? I blinked. Oh, sorry, I forgot about that. Here. The person held a cup to my lips, a strong, sweet smell coming from the rim. A gentle hand grabbed my chin to open my mouth. I couldn't even move to resist. Nope. Don't worry. It'll help you feel better. I promise. As the liquid hit my tongue, all I could feel was a vague sense of heat. We don't drink the weird liquid. As I kept drinking, taste and texture returned, the sweetness of berries and chamomile coating my taste buds. I could even detect a hint of mint. I lifted my head finally, hands fisting at my sides as I propped myself up onto my elbows. The person kept a steady hand on my chin, careful not to pour in too much in case I choked. I finished every last drop, wiping my mouth with the back of my hand. I stared at my fingers, realizing I had full autonomy over my body again. Good as new. Now, how are you feeling? Better, thank you. The stranger laughed. Oh, I like the way you sound. Been ages since I've talked to anyone, much less a voice as nice as yours. Out the window now. I brushed off their strange compliment, finally looking around the cabin properly. It was a simple room filled with sparse but decorated wooden furniture, fit for someone living alone. An open archway to the right led to what I assumed was the kitchen. Next to it, a door closed shut. Possibly the bathroom? Taking it in, there was a common theme of knitted decorations strewn about. Any available surface had patterned knitting tablecloths covering it. An unfinished project lay beside the bedside table where I sat, a pair of knitting needles jutting out of a pile of yarn from a small basket. As far as I could tell, it looked like the beginnings of a green scarf. The stranger was comfortable in staying silent, observing me as I glanced around. Knitting needles, great weapons. They tossed their head onto the bed, scruffing their hair and making it even messier. With their hat off, their unique features were impossible to ignore. Sorry, but what are you? Hmm? Oh, I didn't introduce myself, did I? Hiya, I'm Michael, with a Y. I shook my head. No, I meant that, Michael stared at me, their left ear twitching. You look very, he snorted. Ugly? Off-putting? No, just different. Different, huh? You're just being nice. Well, then explain yourself. Um, I mean, that's kind of rude, isn't it? I paused for a moment before pinching my nose bridge, exhaling slowly. I'm just. His tongue is blue. Sorry, it's been a long day, is all. I should be thanking you. If it helps, it's a skin condition? Is that what you humans call them? The way they said it didn't sound confident. And the ears, um, genetics? Right. And I assumed I waved vaguely at their horns, antennae. Those things are just cosplay to complete the look? Would that make a convincing argument? I squinted. Maybe. Then yeah, it's crossplay. Sir. Sir. Still doesn't explain everything. Michael huffed a nervous laugh. Listen, I'm just a guy living by himself in the woods. You don't need to worry yourself further than that, okay? Something in his tone compelled you not to question his existence anymore. He's just some guy living in the woods. Completely normal. Right, completely normal. Yeah, that's nonsense as fuck. I'm Scar. Michael beamed. Nice to meet you, Scar. I fiddled with the blankets as Michael scooted closer from the edge of the bed. I know I already asked, but how are you feeling? Any aches, sores, nausea? Intrusive thoughts, weird impulses, fever maybe? oh, oh, wait. Okay, she said, I don't think so. Because that went pretty quick. He placed his hand on my forehead before I could react. His hands were calloused, quickly retracting as he gave a thoughtful You seem to be lucid. That's a good sign. Great? He hummed absently. His twitching ear reminded me of that of a perturbed cat. Cat. My cat! Oh, shoot! Sorry if this is out of nowhere, but have you seen a cat around these parts? His name's Kaiba. He's a sweet little thing, about this big, skittish, but he can approach strangers if he needs to. I pulled out my phone to show pictures of him, only to find it missing from my back pocket. Wait, where is... I haven't. Huh? Your cat. I haven't seen it. Oh, I see. I slumped against the pillows, rubbing my temples. He lost his collar, too. Even if anyone finds him, they wouldn't be able to tell where he's from. Damn it. He ate our cat, didn't he? I bet you he ate our cat. Michael stayed quiet. That's a guilty fucking face he made. Watching me from his side of the bed. You came all the way out here for a cat. Huh? Of course. To the point where you're willing to run yourself ragged this deep in the forest. For a cat. Do you realize how far you've wandered away from the nearest town? I found you near unconscious in an area nobody set foot in years. For a cat. You know, he makes a point. He makes a sound fucking argument. He makes a sound argument. Like, we absolutely did the stupid and ran into the forest looking for a cat. It's my cat. I will get my cat back. He sounded like he was holding himself back from giving me a stern lecture, as if in disbelief I had such little regard for my own survival. Oh, Kaiba's sad howling. You shit. My cheeks grew heated at how stupid reckless that sounds. I mean, he's not just a cat. He's my family. I know it's stupid for even trying, but I had to. Michael eased up, his shoulders tense as he looked at me over from underneath his unruly bangs. Family, huh? He finally tipped his head at me with a smile. You're willing to wander this far for such a small critter. I've met my fair share of lost campers, hunters, and a few runaway teens or two. But someone looking for their pet. You're kind of weird, aren't you? I sputtered, much to his amusement. Speak for yourself. Who cosplays in the middle of the woods? Michael laughed, a deep, hearty one resonating from his chest. Fair. I think I'm starting to like you, Scar. Likewise? His smile widened, but something about it was a bit off. He was showing too much teeth. It felt like he hadn't talked to someone in a real long time and forgot how to smile the right amount. I rubbed my neck. No. I rubbed my neck, trying to think of something else to say. Can I ask, how did I get here? Oh, like I said, I found you in the woods, not far from here. Oh, jeez, really? I knew I was tired, but I couldn't have possibly. I did step in something. Something important? Familiar pinpricks crept up my skin. Home. I need to go home. Michael stiffened as he grabbed my shoulder. Never mind that. You've fallen unconscious from a heat stroke. Heat stroke? No, that's not. That wasn't what happened. I wasn't. I was fine up until. Michael shook his head intensely, leaning close. No, 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 Firefly. You weren't fine at all. If I hadn't found you when I did, well, who knows what could have happened. You could have gotten injured or attacked by a wild animal. There's danger in these woods, you know. No, he was right. You had been so foolish. How did you think you could do this on your own? Searching for your cat in the middle of the woods. And to go in without bringing any water. Passing out from heat stroke, of all things. How could you have been so stupid? Easy. We walked into the forest looking for a cat. I shook my head, brain too foggy to pick apart my thoughts. He sounded confident, so why should you doubt him? Well, if it means anything, I'm glad you were there. Michael relaxed, hand on his lap once more. He grinned at me. So am I, Scar. I'm definitely glad I found you. His blush is blue, just like his tongue. His eyes were hidden fully behind his unruly hair, but I couldn't help feeling how intensely they were fixed on me as he said that. The hairs on the back of my neck stood. Uh, sure? Without a distraction, I've only realized how uncomfortable I was sitting still. The blanket on me was starting to itch, just as the desperate need to get home began to rise in me again. This was interesting, but I really need to get going now. Wait. My host jumped up from the bed before I could. I mean, you can't. I just can't let you wander around in the woods this late. Please stay a little bit longer. But Michael, come. He grabbed my hand and led me across the room. We stepped into the kitchen, a fragrant smell of cooked potatoes and meat hanging in the air. 2 plates had been set out on a small circular table, complete with utensils and mugs of tea. I wasn't expecting guests today, so the food is nothing fancy. But join me for dinner? He looked so hopeful, ears drooping. It goes the little fog again. You'd feel so bad if you had to say no. Oh my god. Fucking bull fucking shit. Oh, the dice told me to say no this time. Oh, let's see what happens. I ignored the pleading voice in the back of my head, stealing my resolve. If he wasn't expecting guests, why are there 2? Strangely enough, the second I made up my mind, the faint static that fogged my thoughts cleared instantly, only replaced with an urgent need to go back home. Michael goes quiet, his grip on my hand tightening before he loosens his hold. I see, if that's what you want. But are you really sure? Oh my god. Dang it, Dice. I mean, I guess it doesn't hurt to stay. Dang it, Dice! Michael's jaw dropped for a second before he quickly recovered. Yes, of course. Here, come sit. I'll serve up the cottage pie in a minute. I sat as instructed, my stomach rumbling something fierce as the smell was the only thing I could focus on. Yes, this was definitely the right choice. What was so important that you had to leave so soon? The outside world can wait. You could stay here and enjoy my company. Oh, actually, I should ask, are you okay with meat for dinner? I could make something else for you if that's not your preference. You know, what meat are we eating? What are we eating? Please tell me we're not eating kaiba. Oh, I rolled a 1. Okay. Scar, have you also seen the different text colors? Yes, yes, I have. I'm rolling dice for my choices, though. Good thing I asked. Thanks for letting me know. Let me pick some veggies from the garden and I'll make you something. He left out the back door with the basket, coming back inside surprisingly quick with a smile on his face. I expected to see him toss something in a bowl and have done it just like that, but apparently he had other plans. I watched as he washed the veggies thoroughly before chopping them up with extra sharp knife, setting them aside and pulling out a container from one of the cabinets. He set a pan on the stove and oiled it up, tossing in half of the ingredients and seasoning them with some herbs and spices while the pot boils next to it. The small kitchen quickly filled up with the smell of his cooking. My mouth was already watering in response. I twiddled with the fork on the table, trying to ignore the gnawing feeling in my gut. Luckily, I didn't have to wait long. Before I knew it, Michael had already finished, humming as he strode over to the table and set my food down in front of me. I looked at my dinner and almost gasped. It looks so good. It looks like food. The rice was fluffy as it peeked out from underneath the colorful pile of veggies. I didn't know a simple dish could look so tantalizing. The serving size was a bit heartier than I expected. He must have known I was starving. Michael brought over his own serving of cottage pie as he settled into his seat. Sorry to make you wait. I tried to keep it simple but filling. Go ahead, dig in. He didn't have to tell me twice. I jabbed my fork into the dish, scooping up rice with a spoon in my other hand and shoveling it into my mouth. No. Hot. Michael kept his polite expression, the corners of his mouth lifting as I panted with the food still in my mouth. Make him have a bite first. Rule 101. Make them eat it first so you know if it is poisonous or nah. He's just gonna eat it. Oh no. Check for poison. Where's the Where's our other parts of our D&D party when we need them? He gave me a few seconds to recover, elbow planted on the table. Is it good? I nodded vigorously, even though my buds were burning. Mm-hmm. I couldn't taste anything. He laughed. It's usually better on the second bite. I slowed down, hand on my mouth as Michael poked his fork into his pie. I tentatively blew on the plate to make sure it was cool before taking another bite. He was right. The second bite was a lot better. The rice was soft and flavorful, mixing in nicely with the crunch of the vegetables with every chew. I've never had greens this fresh, and with how gently he cooked them, every single element was finished to perfection. My host watched me enjoy the meal from across the table. Hello? Are you gonna eat? We're gonna die again, aren't we? Do you like it? Yeah, this tastes amazing, Michael. He flushed from the compliment, rubbing the back of his neck. I'm glad. I like to think of myself as a decent cook, but I've never been able to get anyone else's opinion on that. Do you like baking in particular? Hmm, not always. I usually go for simple dishes with any ingredients available. I nodded amicably, though it didn't say much else. I was more focused on scarfing down dinner, which thankfully Michael didn't seem to mind. The overall atmosphere was nice and homey, and I could hear Michael tapping his feet from underneath the table. I guess he was happy to have someone to stay for dinner. It didn't seem like he lived alone, judging from the surroundings in his cabin. So, I'm kinda curious. He perked up instantly, his focus solely on me. What made you want to live all the way out here? Oh, I don't know. Is it the horns coming out of his head or the ears? Or the skin? Just a wild guess. Oh, well, when you look at me, it's kind of easier to just live out of sight from everyone else. A pang of guilt shot through my chest. I was giving him a hard time about how he looked, too. He must have sensed it as clear as day on my face. Definitely not human. No, not that you're one of them. You've actually been nicer than most. Though I wonder if. His smile turned strained. Never mind. My point is, it's better here than anywhere else. Why don't you try the tea, Firefly? He seemed uncomfortable now, easing into a different topic. It's probably best to follow along. Oh, sure. I reached out toward my mug, only to push it off the edge with my clumsy fingers. Wait! I bent over to the side to grab it, fully expecting it to just fall out of reach and land on the floor into broken pieces. It never did. Instead, a long green appendage was twisted around the ceramic mug, securely keeping it in place. Not even a drop had fallen out. My eyes trailed the path of it until it pinpointed that it came from behind Michael, the rest of it partially hidden beneath his cardigan. Sir, you have a tail with a little mushroom on the end of it. A little mushroom tail. Michael, is that yours? I. Michael buried his face in his hands, the strange appendage from before lowering to his side, mug in tow. I'm sorry, Scar. I think it's time I was honest. He lifted his head, fingers carding his hair back to reveal his eyes. Why is it weirdly cute? I froze as two, no, multiple pairs of irises stared right into mine before darting to the side to avoid my gaze. I know it's a lot to take in, but this is who I really am. Please don't be scared. Oh boy. Dice, what are we gonna do? Alright, Dice, we're being calm. I swallowed audibly, willing myself not to look away. He seemed to be holding his breath as I gripped the edge of the table. It felt unsettling every time he blinked those eyes in succession, even when he wasn't looking at me. Was this real? It had to be. Everything about him suddenly made so much more sense. The isolation, The avoidant behavior. He looked freaky, yes, but he also looked sad. I I swallowed thickly. I'm not scared. Michael's many pupils blew wide, dilating like that of an excited wildcat. It sent a shiver up my spine. Okay, maybe just a little bit scared. Sorry. He hastily grabbed an empty plate and hid behind it, shoulders scrunched up despite his stature. Would it help if I just hide it? I could fix my hair like before, if that's what you prefer. His voice was muffled behind the ceramic barrier between us. It was kind of endearing. If it wasn't for the serial killer vibes, I'd befriend him. I slowly reached out to touch his hand, the slight brush of my fingertips making him jump in place. But that's where it ends. Michael? Yeah? Can you put that down? He slowly lowered the plate. His eyes were still darted to the side, avoiding me. Can you look at me? Don't look at me like that. Sorry, I just can't stop looking. This was so awkward. His hands were shaking. I looked down at the mug still floating next to him, hanging on for dear life. I reached for it and plucked it straight out of his grasp. Oh, Avy! You did it, Avy. You got third. Wait. What the? No. Yeah. Avy, it's stuff going on, Avy. I tentatively took a sip, noticing how Michael was watching watching me over the rim of the mug. Stuff? Yeah, so quick catch up for Avy. Avy, we did a stupid. We lost our cat that we named Kaiba. We lost Avy in and we lost Kaiba in the woods, so we went looking for him. We just walked off into the woods by our house to find him, and we stepped on some mushrooms, breathed in the dust, and we passed out. And this guy found us and brought us to his house, gave us some weird liquid so we could move our body because we were like paralyzed. And now he's feeding us, and we now know that he has a tail, and he looks like that. He just revealed that his eyes look like that. He also keeps doing some weird stuff to make us compliant. The taste was mildly spicy, with an almost earthy bite to it. I recognized it instantly as ginger tea. He has pheromone shit. You should run, Lamau. It's almost room temperature, but it's still pretty good. Huh? You wanted me to try the tea, right? I like it. So, thank you? Oh. I'm glad. Michael relaxed back into his seat, following my lead as I picked up my fork once more. The silence didn't last long as Michael fidgeted. Are you really okay with this? With me? I gave him a once over, really taking in his features. It's very different than what I'm used to. But I think I can learn to like it. Is that weird to say? I mean, You're not bad to look at. Is actually kind of. Mm, damn it, damn it, damn it. What do I say? Oh. Come on, Dice. Don't fail me now. Damn it, Dice. He's hot. Hot? You're not referring to temperature, are you? No, I am not. Oh. He looked confused, but seemed embarrassed anyway. My point is, your appearance shouldn't matter. You've been nothing but kind to me so far. And a lot creepy. I'd be the worst kind of person to judge someone based on how they look. I haven't known you that long, but you seem like a good person. No. You're fine, Michael. I smiled at him. We're fine. I see. He fidgeted some more before nodding, smiling a bit. Thanks, Scar. I'll cherish this moment forever. Oh my god, look at how big his eyes just got. Oh, I'll cherish it forever. I hope I'm putting the right amount of creepy inflection into my voice for this. He beamed at me as he enthusiastically went back to eating his food. That was something. We continue with a bit of small talk, mostly stories about Kaiba or snippets from my personal life. Michael hung on every word I said, not bothering to elaborate much about himself, despite my burning curiosity. I could tell he was extremely insecure about his appearance, so it's probably best I keep my questions to myself for tonight. We cleared up the kitchen in relative silence, Michael storing away the rest of the pie as I washed my dishes by the sink. Being out here in this remote cabin, I wonder how he had running water. Maybe I'll ask him later. So, thanks for dinner. Thanks for the company. Oh, and please, take the bed tonight. But, you are my guest, and I'm the host. You take the bed, okay? All right, I'll be out of your hair first thing in the morning. Michael got quiet, staring at the floorboards. Tail to start wagging. With his hair out of the way, I could finally read his expressions. He did he he did seem upset. Is that okay? Or I do need your help though. I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna get lost on my own again. His tail flicked behind him. Yeah, I'll bring you home tomorrow morning. I heaved a sigh of relief. Thanks, Michael. I'll see you in the morning. Yeah. Good night, Scar. Good night, Michael. He seemed really happy being able to say that. I plopped myself down onto Michael's bed, getting comfy beneath the blanket. Michael was gathering some blankets of his own to make a makeshift bed on the floor in front of the fire. He had an impressive collection of knitted items, a comfortable nest forming in the center of the room. My eyes trailed after his tail, now in the open as it flicked and swayed. Kind of like a cat. I miss Kaiba. Now with a full stomach, dozing off came easy. I didn't even realize how tired I was. I listened to the gentle crackling of the fire, my vision darkening. Oh, good night, Scar. What? He's like, no, 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 no. Back the book. A soft humming invaded my dreams, stirring me awake. I blinked my eyes open to unfamiliar surroundings swaddled in a blanket that clearly wasn't mine. He'll bite you if you come that close. Where? Oh. I spotted the familiar figure of my host seated on a stool in front of the fire, hands deftly working on the green scarf bundled in his lap. His back towards me, but I caught glimpses of his fingers as the needles softly clicked between the yarn. He looked incredibly adept using them, the rhythmic movements almost hypnotic as the fibers wound together into an intricate pattern. I slowly stirred into a sitting position, rubbing at my eyes. The movement quickly caught his attention, ears flicking in my direction before his eyes trained on me. Just like last night, his pupils blew up as we made eye contact. His expression lit up the instant he saw me. Scar, hey, I'm glad you're finally awake. You look so tired. I didn't want to disturb you until you've gotten enough rest. Um, Good morning, Michael. Good morning, Scar. Did you sleep well? I was still too groggy to answer his question, a yawn slipping out as I stretched. He smiled kindly, a soft chuckle under his breath. Like a baby, then. He pointed over his shoulder to the door beside the fireplace, tilting his head towards it. You can freshen up in the bathroom if you like, while I start making us some food. I've eaten breakfast by now, but I want you to join me while the food is still hot. How do eggs and toast sound? Eggs and toast? Sounds delicious. Thanks, Dice. Great. I'll see you in the kitchen then. He tucked away his knitting materials and set it aside. Oh, I also have a surprise for you after breakfast. It's not the most exciting surprise, but just join me when you're ready. He ducked into the kitchen without another glance. I could hear his boots thud about the floorboards, cabinets opening and closing in succession in the kitchen. I suppose that's my cue. I rolled out of bed, leaving the warmth of Michael's blankets, and trotting over to the door Michael pointed out. Little bathroom! Oh, wooden tub! Wooden toilet? What? Little bathroom. Oh my god. Stepping inside, I didn't know what I was expecting when he said he had a bathroom, but it was surprisingly spacious. Everything looked like it was carved and polished out of wood. He seemed to have everything you find in a modern bathroom. A sink, a cabinet, a shower, and a tub, and even a toilet. Curious, I crept over to the toilet in particular, inspecting it. There wasn't a tank like you'd expect where the water would be stored. Instead, there was a compartment to the side full of sawdust and a scoop. I expected it to at least have a bit of a smell, but it was surprisingly odorless. There was even a roll of toilet paper on the side. It was no flushing system, but it was hygienic. Michael must have done his research. Walking over to the sink, I stared at the faucet before hesitantly twisting it. I jumped when I heard the rush of water pouring in, swirling in the basin before disappearing to who knows where. Wow. Why am I impressed by a damn functioning bathroom sink? I helped with the dishes last night. I already knew Michael had plumbing. Shaking my head, I finished freshening up and headed to the kitchen. Michael looked up as I entered, a steaming kettle in his hand with 2 empty mugs on the counter. It might have been the lighting, but he was taller than I remembered. Glancing to the table, I could see he already finished plating up our food. Oh wow, you work fast. Michael looked proud of himself. Can't have my guests stay on an empty stomach. Go on, have a seat. I'll join you in a moment. I returned his smile and sat down, stomach grumbling as I looked at our plates. Once again, Michael was generous with the serving sizes. Fat slices of bread were toasted perfectly with crisp buttered sides, bright red tomato slices, and a crisp salad peeking underneath the fluffy eggs. It looked amazingly tantalizing, the smell of savory herbs wafting into my nose. Okay, Michael is creepy, but damn, the man can cook. I mean, yes, that is definitely what it seems like. Damn, the man can cook. My mouth watered. Michael set down a steaming mug beside me before settling into his own seat. Peeking above the rim, I could see small flowers floating about, tinting the water yellow. It faintly smelled of apples. I recognized the yellow dried pellets on tea packaging I've seen before. Oh, chamomile? He nodded. I hope you like it. I'm sure I will. His smile widened as his tail swayed at the tip by his feet. He seemed more relaxed, showing his natural features this morning. Any trace of panic and hesitation from last night were gone, replaced by a look of contentment. Michael bit into his toast and I followed suit. Oh, now we do it the right way. The food was as delicious as I expected. The chunk of toast I bit into was heavenly, the butter sweet on my tongue. The tomato and salad provided a nice crisp balance. And the eggs, something about simple home-cooked food is just the best. Michael was happy to eat in silence, occasionally looking up at me as I enjoyed my food. He'd smile when our eyes meet, his bottom pair narrowing into a little happy squint. I wondered if he'd be open to some questions. Hey, do you mind if I ask? Ooh, what's it like living in the woods? I still can't believe how cozy you managed to make it, considering the whole middle of nowhere thing. Hi, Hato! It wasn't like this when I found it. No. It was a major fix her up her. So the cabin was abandoned. I never would have guessed. Yeah, I'm really happy I get to live somewhere permanent for once. It's not much, but it's home. What's it like? Peaceful, quiet. I do like it a lot. The forest provides me with everything I need. And nobody bothers me for the way I look out here. His ears twitched slightly. Sometimes you just happen to end up where it is most convenient for you and everyone else. The way he avoided my eyes as he said that gave me the impression there's something more to it. Like his home wasn't just out of convenience, but a fear of something else. Rejection, perhaps? Or something worse. Anyways, I don't really have anything else to say about it, unless there's something specific you want to ask. He doesn't think about his answer much before beaming at me. What about you? I know you've told me a little bit about yourself, but what's it like being you? I scoffed, waving a hand. Please, I'm the least interesting person in this room, trust me. His eyes were shining in earnest as he leaned forward. Tell me anyway. Oh, well, I told him about my life, at least the parts I was comfortable with sharing. Just like the last night, his eyes didn't leave my face, occasionally darting about my features and interest. The direct oogling was making me nervous, but I suppose I was doing the exact same thing when it came his turn to talk. Eventually, I came to the topic of my job and the woes of living in the modern capitalism. I am a bit jealous. You have the whole cottagecore aesthetic practically perfect. His face morphed into a confused pout. Cottagecore. I explained it to him in my own words. Oh, you're saying you want to live the way I do? Out in the woods. I nodded without hesitation. I mean, I wouldn't mind showing you the ropes. His tone seemed strangely lidded. What do you mean? Never mind. Anyways, I don't get what the appeal is, but it's not easy either, you know? The forest provides, but it's up to me to make use of it. Starting out was... A dark look crossed over his face then, as if reliving a bitter memory. Rough. But I'm built for survival. I feel like asking him to elaborate would make things awkward. I decided to veer the topic into a different direction. Doesn't it get lonely? Yeah, that's the better direction. Instead of just asking about, living in the woods, do you get lonely? Mm, sometimes. But I'm used to it. He smiled, his eyes lighting up. Besides, I have you at the moment, don't I? I never thought I'd enjoy having someone around. Yeah, sir. Is your bed too cold? Basically. You must be really special. You must be really special. Really? How did you learn to cook? Cottage pie is a pretty complicated recipe. I just wonder if anyone taught you how to cook? I'd be lucky if someone could teach me how to make boiled eggs, Firefly. But it was trial and error mostly. My earlier endeavors were, pretty much inedible. I picked up a thing or two about cooking, though, so your taste buds aren't going to fall victim to any nasty creations, like my early days at least. Speaking of, did you enjoy your dinner last night? Of course I did. You're a really good cook, Michael. I'm glad. It probably wasn't obvious, but I'm really happy I got to cook for you. I don't get guests often, in case you couldn't tell. I should ask you to cook for me every day then. He grinned at my joke, looking pleased. I'd be happy to. I chuckled as I took another bite. So, what's your favorite thing to cook? He lit up at the question. Fried mushrooms. Fried mushrooms? Yeah. Yeah, there are plenty to find and it's easy to make. Huh. I do remember finding a patch of mushrooms yesterday. They smelled pretty funky, though. You remember that? Huh? What was that? Nothing. Anyways, mushrooms were the only thing I had for a while before figuring out I could eat other stuff like roots and veggies. Did you forage all your ingredients? Mostly. The times I figured out how to catch fish and hunt game were the best of my life, I'll tell you that. My first taste of meat? He did an awkward version of a chef's kiss, as if mimicking something he'd seen on television once. Mamma mia. Was he trying to say Mamma Mia? He continued before I could even dwell on it for a second longer. But nothing beats what you humans are able to make. You guys go nuts with ingredients. Rice was a challenge. It's a precious ingredient since I have to actually get some from a store. But once I figured out how to make it nice and fluffy, I consider it a special treat. I did a double take. You go to the store. Yeah. Where else would I get it? I thought you would grow it yourself or something. He laughed as I flushed in embarrassment. It's flattering you think I'm capable of something that impressive, but no. There's only so much the forest can provide. But what about money? We're talking about human currency, right? Otherwise, how would you even... Do you actually have a job? The thought occurred to me. Or did you steal it? He looked almost offended. Do you take me for a criminal? No, but that would mean... Then how? Michael bit into his toast, his two eyes winking in mischief. I have my ways, Firefly. What is that supposed to mean? It means he probably mind controlled the people at the store and he gets free shit. That's what that means. Exactly what he means. Yeah, he stole it. He uses the mind control. How do you have plumbing in your house? I know it's a silly question, but I can't stop thinking about it. Oh, you were wondering about that. An embarrassed look on my face was probably enough of an answer. Oh, well, it's nothing fascinating. It's just rainwater I've got stored above the cabin. Just rainwater. He nodded. I detected a hint of pride as he continued. It's actually a recent installment, believe it or not. Granted, the project took a while, gathering materials, figuring out the tools, finding the right instruction manuals. Plus, I had to figure out where to store the water tank. And don't worry, I installed a filtration system, so it's safe for us to use. I check in every few weeks to make sure nothing's contaminated. That sounded daunting, especially considering he lived all the way out here in the woods. You did all that on your own? I kinda had to. Anyway, it took a whole lot of calibrating and adjusting, but it really worked out. And now that I think about it, I'm glad you get to be comfortable here during your stay, too. Does that answer your question? Where'd you learn how to do all of that? Didn't he just say manuals? Dumb. I had to figure out a lot of things on my own. There was a faint hint of exhaustion in his eyes. But to answer your question, I go to libraries a lot. That is where I learned about the majority of things. The fact that he even ventured into buildings at all already surprised me. If I'm really lucky, they have all these neat DIYs and workshop manuals archived for anyone to browse through. It took me a while to figure everything out. A really long time, actually. But hey, I had nothing but time. And it paid off. I'm considering upgrading the toilet next. But for now, the composting setup works fine. Learned about that in an old camping guide. He paused to take a breath, as if he hadn't talked this much in a while. I'm rambling, but that's how I did it. Is there anything else you want to ask? Wait, you go in libraries? Wait, you leave this house? Wait, you're an alien? No, I don't know what he is. His ears perked up, posture straightening. Oh yeah, I can't tell you enough of how much books have helped me. I made it this far only because I quickly figured out how to read. Wait, you didn't get dissected? Wait, the government never found you? Well, I figured it out that I can read. Do you visit often? In my early days, any chance I could get. Nowadays, I stick to my side of the forest, though. Gotta make sure people don't wander too far off than they're meant to. I paused in my chewing at the teasing lit in his voice. Hey, I'm joking. Anyways, if you're wondering what I'll do about this, he gestured towards his face. How has this man not been found? I just have to make sure everything is covered. You'd be surprised at how little people pay attention to me when I'm bundled up just right. Do people do people not give you trouble? He shrugged nonchalantly. Small town libraries are usually so empty from my experience. And people just mind their business there. Huh, I guess that's true. I can't remember the last time I visited a library. I guess libraries would be Michael's equivalent to the World Wide Web. I should introduce him to the internet sometime. Actually, maybe not. Not without parental controls. What? Scar, no. You'll break him. Yeah, no internet for him. Finally satisfied, I nodded and went back to eating my food. I'm starting to know a lot more about Michael. He didn't directly say it, but it felt like he was lonelier than he was letting on. Not to mention how he managed to make a home for himself, all on his own. I had to wonder if he had anyone at all. Do you have any family around? Family. His expression turned solemn for a moment before he looked sheepish. Remind me how that works again? I get the concept based on some books I've read. But I don't... Is everything back to normal yet? But I don't have what you call parents, if that's what you're asking. We've decided that we will not give this man the internet. It is not a good idea, Avi. My mouth dropped open in shock. No parents. Yep, exactly. He shrugged and took another bite of toast. Not that I recall. What's that like? living with so many people like you in such close proximity. Huh? That's how it works, right? You and other humans living in one house? And you have this, Dena thing that makes you relate to the rest. That's what makes a family, right? Was he talking about DNA? Terrible. Hate it. Okay, so not back to normal, Lamau. His definition threw me off, but I had to answer somehow. No, not just that. Family is. Uh. Shh. Turn the light on. I'm streaming. Come on, Dice. Option two. No, why'd you turn the light out? Yep, option two it is. People that you love and care about, who love and care about you too. He seemed intrigued. Is that so? That does sound nice. Is there anyone you love and care about? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I love my friends. Your friends can be considered family too. Yeah, I don't see why we have to be related to be family. I even consider my cat family. Yeah, Kaiba, the cat we came looking for. Oh, and this is the same for all families. I bit my lip, pondering the question. It would be naive to think that. A lot of families do love and take care of one another, but not everything is perfect. Sometimes that love can be misplaced, or taken advantage of, or even abused. Michael looked thoughtful. So it starts with love. I've read some stories about that. Love, I mean. Those certain feelings just don't make sense to me, at least from a reader's perspective. I guess you have to experience it for yourself to understand. He stared at me unblinking for a moment. Yeah, you might be right. I never considered that. Then again, who would bother loving a monster like me, huh? Well, you're not a monster. I look like one, don't I? That's beside the point. Baps, Michael. You're not denying it, though. I'm just saying, it's okay. You don't have to lie to me. So, family. Wait, sir. Right. To be fair, everyone's definition of family could be different. What about you? What's your definition of family? Michael looked surprised at I asked him that question. I don't know. I've never had one, and I think your answer just confused me more. Well, if you ever figure it out, let me know. Stared at the remaining crumbs on his plate before he nodded, avoiding my gaze. Sure. We both fell quiet, the lulling conversation blanketing us in a comfortable silence. All this family talk. It reminded me of the reason why I'm out here in the first place. to look for my beloved cat, a sight I might never be able to see again. I couldn't help the sinking feeling in my chest, the growing pit in my stomach. I wish, I wish I was able to find Kaiba. You would have loved him. Michael opened his mouth to say something, but changed his mind. My voice wobbled as a lump formed in my throat. Sorry. I just miss him so much. I keep thinking that if I went looking for him sooner, maybe I would have been able to find him by now. He was quick to speak up. You did your best, Firefly. No one else could have gone to the lengths that you did. You almost risked getting yourself. I'm sure, wherever he is, he's doing okay. You really think so? I know so. His voice was laced with a confident assurance, despite the worried look on his face. Yeah, what were you gonna say before that? I almost risked getting myself what? What were those mushrooms gonna do to me? Is the question. I nodded with a quiet sniff. I hope so. He's just important to me is all. Michael looked like he wanted to reach across the table for me, but sighed and said, Watch it turn out the cat was hiding in the house and we just didn't see. Actually, I'm sorry, Scar. I should tell you. Um, Maybe I do have family now that phone call. Sorry, chat. That was the surprise I mentioned before. Wait, really? He nodded. Are you done? I could take you to go meet them right now. I looked at my plate. During the conversation, I didn't realize I'd finished the meal. Yeah, I'm done. His movements were quick, stacking our empty plates and mugs and sitting them in the sink. He grasped my hand before I could say another word, pulling me up and heading outside with me in tow. The door swung open, and I could only see the forest ahead, before he tugged me along as he rounded the side of the cabin. I, als- I almost immediately my peripherals were assaulted with greens on both sides. I figured he was the type to grow his own vegetables, but to see it in person as confirmation was a whole different thing. With Michael leading the way, I only had a moment to take in the surrounding garden. He marked the different plots with messy drawings on small wooden signs jutting out of the dirt. Carrots, lettuce, potatoes, trellises of tomatoes and beans. I wouldn't have been able to differentiate one to the other without the signs. Even the chamomile from our tea just now grew abundant close by, the small buds swaying gently. I bumped into Michael as he suddenly stopped, the man looking over his shoulder to beam at me. We reached what looked like a fenced-off area, with a bit of netting stretching all around. He stepped aside, watching me as my eyes widened. Oh, they're cute chickens! 3 fat, happy little hens strutted about like they owned the place. As he entered through the gate, the hens swarmed over in an instant, at Michael's feet, circling him and pecking at his boots. Ladies, meet Scar. Scar, these are Marwar, Sansuyu, and Primrose, or as I like to call them, Marmar, Sunny, and Rosie. He ducked to pick one up, fluffing up her feathers as he smiled. He gently scratched the hen's little head, which I assumed was Rosie. She practically melted at his pampering, eyes sliding shut. The other two flapped their wings in a huff and went about their business once more. Michael leaned closer, beckoning me to pet Rosie. She was so soft. Rosie's the oldest. She doesn't lay eggs anymore. I couldn't bring myself to, you know. So I brought her some friends. Marmar came first, Sunny's more recent addition. What do you think? Do we make a good family? I laughed and nodded, watching as Rosie nuzzled into Michael's chest. I didn't expect chickens, of all things. Were you expecting something else? I was expecting it to be someone else. Oh, no. When you look at me, people generally don't stick around. When you look like me. There's that negative self-talk again. You don't even look that bad. His eyes flicked to mine, a look of pleasant surprise crossing his face. You really think so? Yeah. You can't be that naive, Firefly. I mean it. He let out a polite scoff as he scratched Rosie's head absently. You genuinely believe people wouldn't run away at the sight of me? Well, I didn't. His smile turned smug, the corners of his lips lifting just a bit. Of course you didn't. Because you couldn't. Shoot. He wasn't wrong. I was pretty much paralyzed in his bed when we first met. But I still don't think you look that bad. Is that so? Describe me then. What? You heard me. Look at me and describe what you see. For a second I thought he was being condescending, but looking at his eyes, all I could see was a bit of playfulness. He looked at me expectantly, eyes shining. You're tall? Go on. You have blonde hair. He gave an amused squint, his left ear twitching. What else? You have green skin and a tail. He chuckled, though there was no malice in it. But that's not all, is it? He definitely expected me to say it straight. Oh, fine. So you don't look human. So what? He hummed absently. As I was saying, animals generally don't care if you look like a monster. My heart twisted at his words. His passive nonchalance somehow makes it even worse. Michael, you're not... A tug at my shoelace caught my attention. A light brown hen stood at my feet, her beady eyes shining. Sunny flapped her wings almost expectantly. Aw, I think she likes you. Go ahead, pick her up, gently, like how I did with Rose. I hesitated, but slowly lowered myself to cup Sunny by her wings. Lifting her up, she was quick to nestle herself until she was comfortably tucked in under my arms. I could feel her wings wiggling as she nuzzled into my side. So cute. Michael's gaze softened as I cooed at the chicken, mimicking her small clucks. So, did it help? Cheering you up, I mean. Oh, So that's what this was. Hi, Goose! A fuzzy feeling bloomed in my chest as he looked at me, chicken in his arms and concern on his face. A little bit, yeah. Only a little. I snickered, rolling my eyes. Okay, mister, a lot. That's more like it. His proud grin was infectious. I couldn't help smiling back. We spent a bit more time with the hens, petting them until they were satisfied. Michael even showed me the spot where they like to have their dust baths, little chicken-shaped holes scattered about the dry soil underneath the coop. Once the gals had enough of us, we refilled their water container before leaving. He left them some treats, procuring them straight out of his pockets before shutting the gate. The girls' excited chatter over the food faded as we made our way back inside his cabin. I thought we were leaving this morning. He sat by his bed. I sat by his bed as he crouched down by the fireplace. From the window I could see the sun outside was getting higher. It might be close to afternoon now. Hey, Michael? Hmm? He looked up at me from where he was stroking the fire. How are you, Goose? Ooh, Eepy? I rubbed my arms, unsure of where to place my gaze. I think it's a good time for me to go now. I'm tired. Goose! Go get rest. I didn't. My expression fell, but I caught myself quickly. He'd done his best to cheer me up. It'll be inconsiderate towards him to leave in a bad mood. I might have to accept that I'll never see Kaiba again. I think it's better if I focus on moving on. He was quiet for a moment, his hands in his pockets. If you say so. But you don't have to leave just yet. We've got plenty of daylight left, and there's some places I want to show you. Won't you come with me? I had to decide. Oh! I was about to do the thing, and it went away. I promise I'll take you home right after. He took another step towards me. Please, Firefly. I didn't want to say it, but he looked desperate. Okay. I'll go with you. The joy on his face was shining bright as a billboard. Great. Let me get our stuff. He disappeared into the kitchen, returning with my backpack in one hand and a satchel in the other. He passed it to me as he walked towards the front door. I almost forgot I had this. Rifling through my bag, I found cat treats, Kaiba's collar, and a broken compass, and my phone! The battery was dead, though. Still, that's one less thing to worry about. I checked through my bag once more, finding an empty water bottle. I frowned, distinctly remembering I forgot to pack water for my trip. Or at least, Michael told me I did. Didn't I? You ready? I looked up at Michael, startlingly when I spotted the large crossbow in his hands. Yeah, where has that large crossbow been hiding? This house isn't that big. That we did not see big crossbow this whole time. He followed my gaze and shrugged. I bet a nervous smile, like he had been caught doing something he shouldn't be. He quickly strapped the weapon to his back and out of sight. Don't worry, I'm not going to use it unless necessary. I would hope not. He chuckled at my indignant tone. You think I'm gonna let you out into the woods without guaranteeing your safety? I made a promise to get you home, so this is just extra precaution. You don't think it's a bit much? Better safe than sorry, Firefly. He did have a point. If anyone knew these woods and the kind of danger it held, it'd be Michael. I glanced over him again, noticing he changed his oversized cardigan for something more outdoor appropriate. You know, I trust this guy. Oh my god, Avi. At first you told us to run. Oh, no, not him. I mean Goose. His eyes tracked mine, his shoulders stiffening as a tint spread across his face. Goose is the tired Goose. So, shall we? He opened the door and waved me out. I stepped outside to glance around his front yard. The landscape wasn't anything special. It was actually left quite plain, just thick with trees and foliage. Only paths of dirt and flattened grass cued me into the routes Michael would use as he comes and goes, webbing in all directions trailing to the front door. Come to think of it, anyone passing through would be able to spot Michael's house if they squinted through the trees carefully enough. I guess he was right that nobody walked through this area in years. I heard a lock turn before Michael joined me by my side. He smiled wide before tipping his head in that direction, making sure I was behind him before he started walking. Hold on, guys. I need to turn the light on in this room. I can't see. Okay. It's very rare I get an empty house. I was hesitant, but followed suit. It was quiet as we traveled, save for the sounds of nature calling out around us. The weather was bright and warm, the sun casting pretty rays through the gaps in the trees. I had to admit, enjoyable as it was, the bird calls and the rustling of leaves as we walked somewhat brought bad memories. Yesterday was miserable. I was lost, tired, and hungry. There was a chance I wasn't gonna make it out alive. I watched Michael's back as he led the way, the man barely paying any mind to his surroundings. His ear would occasionally flick back in my direction, but overall he seemed confident on where to go. Having Michael as my guide home was definitely a great assurance. It made me even more grateful he found me when he did. I sighed and shook off the negative feelings, keeping pace while appreciating the fresh air. I stepped up next to my companion, willing my voice to speak after plenty of silence. This is actually kinda nice. A good old nature walk. I coughed into my fist, feeling embarrassed. He could also be leading you to your doom. He could. He could absolutely, but I think he likes us. I don't go outside as often as I should. Michael smiled kindly. But we don't like him. I don't know. I think she likes him at least a little bit, AV. Just a little bit. She might not like him a lot of bit, but a little bit. Enough that she hasn't run screaming into the forest to her death. I'm glad I get to bring you then. Yeah, feels different when you know where you're going. Actually, where are we going? He sensed my nervousness and laughed. Don't worry, we're almost there. I looked up and saw it before he even pointed it out. A clearing in the distance, the trees growing steadily, strangely sparse in that area. I held my breath as I noticed the grass slowly starting to dot with flowers, delicate blooms swaying here and there in the breeze. Oh, hi, Kaiba. We liked the guy from yesterday. There was no other guy yesterday, it was just him. It was breathtaking. Oh, you're talking about Hugo. You still talk. That was from the other game. Yes, my guy. Oh my god. Depending on when I finish the other one, if there's time, I wouldn't mind going back to that one because there's probably other routes. It was breathtaking. A secluded little meadow of flowers lit up by beams of light, making the scenery resemble a page from a forgotten fairy tale. Butterflies flitted about in pairs, their wings flickering and complementing the surreal yet enchanting ambience of the whole place. Michael let me gawk some more before walking ahead, turning to face me before sitting down to relax on the grass. He slipped off his satchel and laid it on the grass by his side, along with his crossbow. I blinked out of my stupor and approached him, spinning around to drink everything in before plopping myself down next to him. So, what do you think? Pretty, isn't it? I nodded dumbly before finally glancing at him, the man's gaze on me softening as our eyes met. A butterfly approached us rapidly, making me flinch on instinct. It landed on his finger as he held it out, its wings flapping gently. He smiled at the dainty creature, a fond look in his eyes, before he held it out towards me. Do you like butterflies, Scar? Ooh, dice. What say you? Terrified. I think they're okay. Nope, Dice said okay. Michael nodded, rotating his finger to watch the creature flutter its wings. I think they're fascinating. They're, metamorphosis? That episode of SpongeBob? Metamorphosis? He beamed, nodding excitedly. Metamorphosis. My cheeks puffed in holding back a laugh. Michael knew he fumbled, but grinned anyway. That word you said. It's amazing. I love to have the ability of being reborn into a different creature. Wait. He's a boy failure. I love him. Oh my god. Not a boy failure. Oh my god. The chance to look different. The chance to look beautiful. I scanned his face thoughtfully before pulling my knees up to my chest. Yep, it kinda is. AV's adopting Michael. The sun was at its peak now, the air getting warmer as minutes passed. The leafy canopy over us provided enough cover for us not to overheat. Michael picked the flower with his other hand and placed it in my palm, his tail lopping loosely around us as both my cheeks darkened. Good night, Lee. Get some rest. He closed his eyes and leaned back further, the butterfly still resting on his hand. My ears caught a soft rumbling before I realized it was coming from his direction. I almost wanted to ask, but I didn't want to ruin the moment. My gaze dropped as I twirled the flower in my hand, holding the stem delicately. Wait a damn minute. I thought you were going to bed. Is this little shit purring? I think so, Lee. I think he's purring. I was, and I heard the purring. The gesture felt platonic, but also romantic. I wonder if Michael was even interested in relationships. Now I bed. Okay. Good night, Lee. He's been alone most of his life. He'd probably get tired of my presence sooner or later. Before I could contemplate further, the butterfly on Michael's finger took off, my gaze trailing after it as it left the sunlight and flew away into the woods. Which reminds me, Michael? Hmm? Don't get me wrong. This place is stunning. But is it okay if we go now? He straightened from his relaxed slouch. Why? We just got here. I chewed on my lip, hesitating. I love it here, I do. But I want to go home, Michael. Michael studied my face. Scar, do you want to leave me that badly? But no! I just... I need time to recover from losing Kaiba. I know it's silly and dramatic, but knowing he won't be there when I get home... He trailed off, another shot of guilt and regret filling my chest. I just need to get it done with. I feel a hand rubbing my back. Michael nodded slowly, looking me in the eyes. His smile was gentle. That's okay. I understand. But maybe this place can help with that. Oh no, he's doing the thing again. It's a nice spot to nap in, isn't it? I picked it out just for you. Why don't you go ahead and lie down? His words made you sway, a sudden bout of sleepiness weighing heavy over your eyelids. He was right. It is a nice spot to nap in. Why were you in such a hurry? You yawned, lying back to stretch on the grass. The warmth from the ground seeped through your clothes, lulling you into a sense of comfort and safety. There you go. Just spend some time with me. Just a bit more, please. Oh, here's something else I could show you. He reached into his satchel and pulled out a wooden box. It's called a kalimba. I blinked slowly, clarity coming back as I shook my head to pay attention. The box fit neatly in his hands, Michael holding it as if he were typing on a phone. I could see the hole in the middle with thin strips of metal arranged in a triangular shape over it. What does it do? A proud smirk spread across his face. I'll show you. He began to pluck at the metallic prongs, a gentle ringing sound resonating with every flick of his thumbs. I couldn't recognize the song. He might have made it up himself. I closed my eyes, enjoying the tune. Michael gave a soft chuckle as he kept playing. Relax and listen as long as you like, Firefly. A few minutes passed by with Michael plucking away at the instrument, the two of us sunbathing like two cats on a Sunday afternoon. I must have dozed, as the next thing I knew, I felt a nudge on my shoulder. Comfy? Hmm? He chuckled low as I refused to open my eyes. I mean, if you'd rather stay. My eyes shot open, my whole body jerking to sit up. Michael glanced at me, the kamba in his lap, and half a forget-me-not chain in his hands. But what? I shook my head, slapping at my cheeks. I can't believe I fell asleep. It's all right. He cut me off. His sigh was heavy. I was hoping. Never mind. He patted my shoulder, though his smile didn't reach his eyes. Thanks for being here with me. Maybe we could do this again sometime. If I ever see you again. Let's get you home. He rolled over to his feet and stood up, brushing off the dirt and fixing his satchel. Come on. We gathered our things and set off into the unknown once more. Well, unknown to me at least. Michael seemed to have a map of this place ingrained in his brain. You seemed a bit sleepy still, so let's freshen up, okay? We walked a bit further away from the clearing, coming across a river. Compared to the rest of the path we walked, the area was shaded considerably with a thick canopy of leaves over us. The flowing water looked inviting as I kneeled down by the bank, Michael idling close by. I dipped my hands in, eager to wash my face. The water was refreshing and cooled my heated skin in the afternoon sun. I pulled my hands back to see Michael peeking over my shoulder into my reflection, smiling with a faraway look on his face. He startled as our gazes met, irises darting away to look at himself instead. Immediately his expression changed. His ears flattened, a grimace twisting his features as his lips curled back. I never seen such contempt in his eyes as I did then, staring at his own visage. He stepped away, retreating underneath the cover of a tree to lean against it with crossed arms. He doesn't notice me watching. I patted my hands dry on my shirt and approached him. You ready? Yeah. I stopped him before he could turn to leave. He looked at me with a questioning look, tipping his head. I hesitated. I wasn't the type to speak my mind directly. Most of the time I kept things to myself and let things go by. But nobody should look at themselves and have that sort of reaction. Hey, you know you're not, I might as well be frank. You're not a monster, Michael. He looked taken aback. What makes you say that? I saw how you were looking at yourself, how you talk about yourself. None of it's true. I keep telling you, you're more than just your appearance. I don't know what compelled me to do it, but I did it anyway. I reached for his hand and held them between us. His eyes widened at the contact. All it took was a day with you, and truthfully, I think you're the most amazing person I've ever met. There's food in the fridge. He made a choked noise. I, I, I. I'm just some old nobody compared to you. That's not. Shut up and listen. He promptly shut his mouth with an audible click of his teeth. From where I stand, you saved my life. You've taken care of me better than I could have ever asked from a stranger. That already proves to me that you're not the monster you think you are. You're charming, you're smart, you're sweet. You're a million more wonderful things, but you are not a monster. I take a second to compose myself, lowering my voice. You may look different, Michael, but guess what? His multiple eyes stared into me, ears flattening as if fearing the worst. That makes you all the more beautiful to me. His breath hitched. I could feel his hand squeezing mine, fingers trembling. It was like he forgot how to breathe. I realized my hands were getting sweaty. I pulled away hastily, scratching at my neck and avoiding his gaze. I could feel the blood rush to my face. I could dunk my whole head in the river and probably let off steam. Sorry, that came out of nowhere. It didn't feel right if I didn't say anything. I hope you understand. An awkward silence passed between the two of us. Um, anyways, I caught him mumbling under his breath. I can't let you leave. What? I said, you can't leave. I mean, not without your cat, right? I frowned. I already tried, Michael. Like you said, it was stupid for me to just wander off in the woods as if I'd find him through dumb luck. He paused, his fist clenching. But I haven't. Huh? I haven't tried. I know these woods better than anyone. I can try looking for him. But that means you can't leave yet. Michael, I appreciate the offer, but I don't think I should stick around any longer. I have a job and responsibilities and you hissed in pain, a sudden migraine overcoming your senses. You feel sick, your stomach wringing itself into knots. It felt like the world was warping around you as your legs wobbled. Your body buckled over as you resisted the urge to vomit. Michael caught you as you slumped gracelessly to the ground, your head resting on his shoulder as he cradled you close. Hey, hey, you don't look so good. Your vision doubled as he spoke, his speech oozing together, words into a decipherable mess. Are you okay? Need me to carry you home? Oh my god, what are these choices? What? Oh, yes, please. Okay, no problem. Just, just hang in there. Hang on to me. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You don't deserve this. If I could just one more day with you, I'd be the happiest man alive. Here we are. Let's get you tucked in. Um, I should give you some clothes, especially since you'll be staying another night. You're okay with that, aren't you? I blinked, groggily awake to the gentle sounds of a crackling fire. hold on. Important notes here that I need to read. Okay. The itchy texture of worn bed sheets and the weight of a heavy knit blanket. I could recall once or twice having felt these very sensations to the point I consider them familiar and comforting. And yet, nothing could prepare me for the bright yellow eyes peering into mine. Oh my god. Hello, Michael. Did we punch him? Did we kick him? What did we do? My knuckles hit him square in the face as Michael yelped, nose scrunching as the taller man stumbled backwards into a stool. Yeah, we punched him. He was too fucking close. He landed on his rear with the grace of a clumsy toddler on the floor. I sat up in a panic and immediately grimaced, landing back on the bed with an unceremonious flop. It hit me in one fell swoop how my whole body was aching. Every single one of my limbs felt like they had gone through the ringer and come out the other side all crinkled and wrong. I groaned aloud, leaning my head back on the pillow. Michael shifted back onto his feet, rubbing his nose. Scar. His voice was an awkward croak before he cleared his throat. I'm glad you're awake. How are you feeling? Terrible. He visibly flinched. I'm sorry to hear that. He stepped closer to the bed, leaning over warily, just in case my hand dramatically whips out again in self-defense. With my hand settled on my lap, he deemed it safe enough to sit beside me. What happened, Michael? You don't remember? I shook my head, wincing a bit as my head pounded. Not at all. Michael hesitated. You, tripped and hit your head. I had to carry you home? His words almost slurred together as he fidgeted. My head? I slowly lifted my hand to feel for bumps and bruises, but he hastily snatched my wrist. Don't worry about that. Here, have this. It'll help. Michael gave me a familiar-looking drink as he quickly pressed the cup to my hands. Sitting up with some effort to take a sip, I couldn't help the small sense of déjà vu. The amount of times I've woken up in his bed dazed and disoriented is almost uncomfortable now. At least the drink was helping, just like he promised. My body felt lighter as I finished. Michael took the cup from me and set it aside before wringing his hands together with nervousness I haven't seen in a while. So, sorry this happened. I didn't mean for you to get hurt. I sighed and waved aside his worry with an embarrassed grumble. Wouldn't be the first time I tripped, if you believe it. It's not your fault. He gave a soft chuckle, but it sounded guilty. I suppose you're right. It's just... His face looked like he had a million thoughts running through his head. I promised, didn't I? I said I was going to look out for you. I said I was going to keep you safe. Instead, I made you hurt. His voice cracked. I'm so sorry, Scar. The sudden change in his demeanor was startling to say the least. You couldn't have predicted it was gonna happen. And I'm fine, see? Oh, Firefly, I guess you're right. His expression carried a lingering doubt, but he quickly masked it with a small smile, his eyes dim. In that case, you'll be staying? The way he said it almost sounded like a decision that's already been made, or a plea. What do you mean? His eyes darted aside. You agreed to let me find Kaiba, remember? Did I say that? Yeah. So, you'll be staying a while longer, right? He didn't even let me get a word in. In fact, a feeling of uncertainty washed over me, as if we've had this conversation before. I don't think I should. Besides, what's the rush? It's already late, and you're in no condition to travel anyway. I blinked before glancing out the window. Pitch black darkness greeted me as I realized that he was right. Yet another uncanny feeling spread through my chest, shivers crawling down my spine. I don't know why, but something about this whole situation felt wrong. I feel like I'm forgetting something else. Michael had a nervous look on his face. Maybe you hit your head harder than you thought? His words didn't sound confident. How long was I out? Couple of hours, I think. You, really took a hit. It was that bad. My brows creased as I tried to recall today's events. But I don't remember tripping. There was a river. I remember you. And then, and then, your memory must be fuzzy, and for good reason. After all, my stomach rumbled suddenly, echoing in the quiet room. There was a heavy silence right after. Michael was polite enough to hide his chuckle under his palm as I flushed. He seemed relieved. Well, lucky for you, I've got dinner on the way. It should be ready soon. You're okay with soup, right? Soup. Soup sounds all right. My stomach growled once more, the pain of an empty gut making me wince a bit. My host noticed immediately. Oh, maybe we should get you some food sooner than later. Do you feel okay enough to sit up? I nodded with a grumble, swinging my legs over the side of the bed, before noticing something was on my lap. Wait, what's this? I unbundled a pile of thick fabric, realizing it was an oversized sweater and a pair of baggy sweatpants. A mushroom pattern? That's oddly cute. The material felt worn but comfortable. The towel laid next to them. Is this for me? Oh, I figured since you were staying another night, you'd want some fresh clothes. They might be a few sizes bigger. Or a lot. Sorry. He had gotten shy for some reason. On the other hand, I didn't have to take a whiff at myself to know that I probably reek. I nodded again, giving him a small but grateful smile. They're fine, Michael. Thank you. Yet another thing I had to owe him. I couldn't help feeling like I'm taking advantage of his kindness now. So, you know where the bathroom is. Take your time cleaning up. I'll be in the kitchen if you need anything. I'm really happy you're here. He stood there for a good few seconds, fidgeting with his hands as if he wanted to say more before finally heading to the kitchen. I watched his back retreat before hoisting myself up and heading to the bathroom. Now that I was alone, I had a moment to gather my thoughts. The nagging feeling was back, prickling a prickling feeling across my skin, rising goosebumps as if to tell me I shouldn't be here. I just couldn't place my finger on what. Yeah, I'm probably just being paranoid. Then again, it's been a while since I've showered, so I could chalk it up to dirt accumulating on me and making me itch in places I don't want to think about. After undressing, I folded my clothes so I could place them in my backpack later before turning on the shower. The water was ice cold. My teeth chattered as I cleaned myself as fast as I could, using some scentless soap by the side of the tub. Dressing myself again, I wrung out my hair as best I could before drying it with a towel. Putting on the clothes Michael provided, I felt like I had shrunk in size. I adjusted the sleeves and the waistband to my liking with some struggling, just so my hands and feet could poke out of the holes comfortably. I couldn't help noticing his clothes smelled like freshly cut grass, with a smoky hint of a woodsy bonfire. The scent reminded me of camping in the summer. Persistent doubt aside, I definitely felt way better compared to when I woke up. Stepping out, I could smell something good coming from the kitchen. A gentle humming greeted me as I came through the doorway. Michael was idly stirring a pot by the stove, looking up at me as I entered the kitchen. Whatever he had in that pot made my stomach grumble yet again. His ears flicked as he registered the clothes I was wearing. How do they fit? I shrugged. They're definitely bigger on me. He nodded, turning back to the pot. I can see that. I wasn't sure what you normally wear, so I went with whatever I had that was. He struggled to pick a word. Coziest? I gave him a hum of agreement, fiddling with the hem of his sweater. Flirt? Why is that an option? Why are we flirting? Alright, Dice. What are we doing? We're flirting. Jesus. Jeez. Was I really about to do this? Yeah, that's my question. The dice told us to do it, so we're doing it. Here we are. I guess I was. With the confidence of a courting peacock, with nothing to lose, I leaned against the doorway, making sure to prop my hip in just the right angle against the edge. I think I look good in your clothes. Maybe I should wear them more often. With how baggy the clothes were on me, I probably looked closer to a sentient sack of potatoes than a human being. Michael must have sensed something was different in my tone, as he gave a confused chuckle with his tail noticeably swishing side to side. I guess you could. Though I'm pretty sure most of them won't fit right. Undeterred, I continued on. I could help find something more comfortable. I sent the smoothest wink I could muster. Wink. Nailed it. He seemed to consider my offer. I thought I found the right outfit, but you can look through the closet for something you like now that you're awake. Do you have something in your eye? Ah, the boy is clueless. Good, good, 'cause this is terrible. I straightened subtly. I'm just trying something, I guess. Trying what? Never mind. Uh, what's cooking, good looking? Against all odds, his cheeks began to color, his hands stirring the pot, faltering for a brief second. What? Wait, this might actually work. I bolstered my efforts, leaning forward with another smile. You heard me. You said. He hesitated to repeat it. Well, maybe you should get your eyes checked. Yeah, this was a terrible idea. I cleared my throat awkwardly. Thank you for the clothes. He must have sensed something wrong again as he quickly tried to salvage whatever the hell was going on. Uh, for what it's worth, you look very. What? I don't know what that says. What? Nope, not even gonna begin to try to read that. Whatever he said sounded like a strange several clicks of the tongue, but with vowels? Somehow? What? He huffed, his tail waving side to side like a metronome. It means, he trailed off. I guess in your language it would mean, um, cute? My smile faltered as he fidgeted. We stared at each other. I might actually have a chance? The color of his face was closer to a blueberry the longer I looked at him. There was an awful awkward tension before I broke it with a nervous laugh. Cute? The fact that I swear I heard him whimper in panic. The situation was so absurd, I had to laugh harder. Was that so hard to say? He sputtered. Didn't think you'd be comfortable with me saying it. Why not? Well, you know. What do I know? His grin was teasing as he picked up on that quickly, his nervousness dissipating as he gave a sharp huff, his hand stirring the pot faster. So I called you cute. It's not a big deal. Then why is your face so blue like this? Like it is? He made another choking noise, his eyes darting about. It's just the heat from the stove. I'm cooking my best here. I snickered at his terrible excuse. You're a bad liar. But it's true. Stove tops don't do that. Mine does. A glaring contest ensued before we ended up bursting into a fit of giggles, my face warming from the silly banter. The kettle started whistling then, cutting our moment short. He seemed disappointed by the shift in the atmosphere, but quickly moved to pick it up. Why don't you take a seat, Firefly? I'll be right with you. He was already turning his back towards me, preparing the tea. I slowly approached him. Hey, let me help this time. Michael startled, surprised to see me beside him. Oh, sure. Could you get some bowls ready? We're having tomato soup. Oh, do you want some grilled cheese with yours? Or would you prefer garlic bread? Yeah. Garlic bread, please. Got it. I brushed past him, feeling his tail linger by my ankle as I grabbed the bowls and spoons from the bottom shelf. He started preparing the sides, the smell of toasted bread filling the kitchen and mingling with the soups. I took over preparing the tea. I finally, ugh, goodness, I'm just mixing up words now. Finally, I ladled the soup from the pot into a larger bowl just as Michael finished flipping the last piece. We settled in for a nice hot dinner. Man, does it look good, too. Regardless of how I felt about the tomato soup, Michael's turned out rich and creamy with an amazing balance of sour and sweet. The fragrant garlic bread added the perfect texture to the meal, practically melting in my mouth with every bite. The combination of bread slices, toasted with buttery garlic spread, dipped in fancy ketchup with no business being this good. Had no business being this good. Jesus Christ, my words. There's still a feeling of stilted awkwardness, but the food helped ease us both into a warmer, light-hearted conversation. I didn't realize how hungry I was until I refilled my bowl, Michael watching me with his chin propped in his hand. His bowl sat empty. Apparently, he already had his fill. Is tomato soup your favorite? His question was innocent, though his eyes were observing me carefully as I shrugged. I think I love anything you cook. He stilled, taking a second to process what I said. Oh, well, thank you. No, thank you. I usually get takeout or microwave dinners. Nothing beats a home cooked food. What's a microwave? I snickered and tried to explain it the best I can. A metal box that heats up food? That sounds like, what's the word in those fantasy books? Magic. Am I using that word right? I laughed lightly. Sometimes science is just like that. We talked about other kitchen appliances off the top of my head, slowly branching out to other human inventions. He seemed even more interested. I I never understood how technology technology worked. I pulled out my phone and let him fiddle with it. Though with the battery dead, there's not much I could show. He was clearly disappointed. It's about as useful as a brick. For now. Otherwise, I'd have a whole network of information in my hands. His eyes lit up. Like a library. You could access it at any time as long as the bat bat tree is alive. As long as I have an internet connection. Right. Internet. I didn't know you could do that. I just see people staring at them all the time. It seemed boring. He looked at my phone again, a look of wonder on his face. Having a whole library in your hands. Everyone must be really smart then. Well, not everyone uses it like a library. More like a messaging hub or a content of source consumption. Content consumption, source consumption, gee. His ear flicked as he stared at me with a blank smile. Consumption. You can eat it. Yeah, he has no clue what I'm talking about. How do I explain to him the very concept of Web 2.0? I cleared my throat, deciding that I simply won't. Maybe I can show you what I mean someday. His eyes brightened, seeming to like that idea a lot. You mean that? I can have some? Yeah. I think it's about time you start getting a little more modern around here. No offense. Imagine what you could do with a generator. His smile widened just a tad, though there's still a cluelessness to his face that was just a little endearing. Jenny Raider. I laughed and reached across to pat his hand, a gesture that made his smile wobble. Like I said, I'll show you some day. A loud thwack against the floorboards, followed by a rhythmic thudding. Leaning over to see the tip of his tail wagging back and forth, the tip of it slapping against the floor almost comically. Michael looked flustered as he laughed softly, pulling his hand back to rub his neck. Sorry. He looked like he had more to say, but exhaled heavily, gathering himself before tilting his chin towards my empty bowl. Are you done? I nodded as he stood and collected our dirty dishes, heading toward the sink to wash them. I followed. What? Oh, I hit it too fast. Never mind. We made quick work of the dishes, heading back to the living room to relax. Michael headed to his blank basket of knitting materials, his movement routine. I wasn't sure what to do with myself. I looked over at Michael as he pulled out the stool from the corner towards the front of the fireplace. His ears flicked in my direction before he returned my glance. Do you knit? I rolled a 1. I guess we knit now. His eyes lit up. It's relaxing, isn't it? Can I see what you're working on? He looked surprised, not expecting my interest. Sure, it's something I work on in my downtime. Halfway through, I started to realize maybe it's not really my color. He lifted it up for me to see, only for my foot to kick the basket, sending a ball of yarn rolling towards the bed. Sorry. I quickly followed after it, only to halt as I spotted something near the bed. It was glinting off the firelight in the room. Approaching the bed, I tilted my head lower to see it was a tin container the size of a shoebox. What's that? Michael looked up. Under your bed. Is it something important? A hesitant look came across his face. Oh, just some emergency supplies. Nothing too special. I had an inkling it was something more, but I figured I'd let him keep his privacy without prying any more. I see. Michael watched me for a moment or two before clearing his throat. Hey, Firefly. Hmm? I've been meaning to ask. Do you remember what you said? At the river. The river? Oh, where I tripped. I pursed my lips in thought. Not really. Everything feels fuzzy to me. He seemed disappointed. Oh, not even a little. I shook my head. Why, did I say something stupid? Just some things. It made me happy. Oh, God. I think I did say something stupid. Before I could ask about it, he already gestured towards the bed. Well, you should get some sleep, Firefly. Want to wake up nice and early to find Kaiba, right? The idea of looking for my cat once more made me wilt. You really think we'll find him? Michael looked on edge, pocketing his hands. It doesn't hurt to try. But it does hurt to hope. His face twitched. Well, His ears flattened as he thought of something to say, clearly struggling. He finally opened his mouth to respond, his words slow and careful. I'm here for you. Thank you, Michael. He nodded, a strange mixture of polite happiness and hidden anxiety playing across his face. He's probably not used to another person sticking around this long, let alone someone going through a loss that he could care less about. Though maybe I've been enough of a burden to him. Actually, can you just send me home? His brows raised, his posture straightening in surprise. Are you sure? But what about Kaiba? Don't you want to see if we can find him? I'm sure. A look of apprehension crossed his face. But it's so soon. Kaiba could be out there. Michael, please. I can't think about him right now. I just want to go home. He fidgeted with the sleeves of his cardigan. But I... He looked like he had so much more to say, but whatever turmoil going on in his head was quickly swept behind a reassuring smile. Okay, get some sleep, Firefly. You've been through a lot. He went to collect his blankets again, already arranging them into a nest like the night before. The words left my mouth before I could think twice. Do you want to use the bed tonight? He stopped in his tracks. Oh, no, I don't mind the floor. I meant we'd be sharing the bed. Hearing it out loud just made me want to slap myself across the face. Michael blinked at me before laughing lightly. My bed's too small for two people, don't you think? I don't think it'll be comfortable for either of us. He eyed the bed frame before looking back at me. I'll be all right. And with that, he crouched on the floor and started setting up his bed, his tail swaying languidly. I laid down and faced the wall, the sharp sting of embarrassment in my chest refusing to go away. Why did I ask that? That was so stupid. Maybe I needed a sense of comfort. Or maybe I just needed him? Whichever it was, at least he took it at face value. I wasn't sure what I'd do if he said yes. I groaned internally and shut my eyes, willing myself to go to sleep. The last thing I heard was the gentle crackling of the fireplace, accompanied by Michael's knitting needles clicking away in the dark. Before I knew it, I could hear birds chirping outside the window. Vamp, you still looking for a date? Yandares. Hi, Dab. The first thing I noticed was the fire must have been out, considering I couldn't hear the familiar pop and snap that came with the room's ambience. The second thing I realized was the hand gently shaking my shoulder awake. Wake up, sleepyhead. I stirred, yarning as I sat up in bed. Michael beamed, hand still on my shoulder. There you are. Had a good sleep? I mumbled incoherently. His smile widened into a grin as I blinked myself out of my woozy state. If I didn't know any better, he seemed to enjoy waking me up in the morning just to see my disgruntled expressions. Breakfast is ready. Wash up and meet me in the kitchen, all right? Give me a second. He took that as my assent, humming his response. Suddenly his hand reached up to ruffle my hair, messing up my bedhead further. Hey! He merely laughed at my indignant squawk before reminding me once more to get up, his steps already thudding toward the kitchen. Recovering after a moment, I stared at the wall and pondered my situation for a second as I made my way to the bathroom. This was the third day since I left my house. I'm missing work, missing my cat, and missing my sense of direction. I gotta get back to my life. Today. Quietly, I reminded myself of my goal. Padded to the bathroom, freshened up, and joined him in the kitchen. Michael was already seated, cutting into some pancakes. Oh, Avy's going to really love him now. Pancakes? Having pancakes? It's Avy's whole thing. He already said he was gonna adopt him. Now Avy's gonna want to keep him because pancakes. It's too late for you now, Michael. His smile was bright as I entered the kitchen, his tail flicking closer to my seat as I sat down. Oh my God, look at those pancakes. A similar stack of mouth-watering pancakes was placed across from him, waiting for me to dig in. He's got strawberries and blueberries with those pancakes. I thought, though I couldn't bring myself to muster up an appetite with so many thoughts filling up my head. He seemed to notice the look on my face, laughing nervously. You look serious. Something on your mind, Firefly? I picked up my fork, twiddling it. I'm just worried about getting home. Michael faltered as he lifted a piece to his mouth. Oh, you're still thinking about that. He seemed annoyed, which was a first. Of course. I've been gone for 3 days. People probably think I've gone missing. His gaze lowered, almost grumbling. Is that so bad? I. What? Yeah, it's bad. Why do you sound like you don't even care? Michael frowned, looking up at me now. Why do you sound like you're so desperate to leave? What? It's all you ever think about. Are you not happy here? Is it not enough? I sighed, rubbing my fingers over my eyes. Michael, we've gone over this. I said it once and I'll say it again. You've done so much for me already. But I can't keep pretending everything's okay here. I want to go home. I need to go home. He sucked in a deep breath, grunting something indecipherable under his breath. I only wanted to. He seemed to be battling himself before he finally sighed. I'm sorry. You're right. Of course you're right. His tone seemed genuine, even if the hurt in his eyes was as clear as day. I'll send you back today. I narrowed my eyes. I mean it this time, I promise. He held his hand over his chest. I swear on my heart. Oh, we don't trust him. My eyes narrowed just a tad. Could I really trust his word? Did I have another choice? Will you tell me what happened yesterday at the river? The river? I already told you what happened at the river. His voice sounded strained at the end. So, that's it then. You're just gonna send me home? He nodded. Okay. I paused for a moment before adding quickly, Thank you. He nodded and went back to eating, watching me expectantly as he ate his food. It was a moment before he swallowed and spoke again. Can you promise me something? His voice was quiet, for a lack of a better word, vulnerable. What is it? Promise me. His mouth hung open for a second or two before he laughed. Promise you weren't lying when you said you liked my cooking. I snorted. Are you kidding? Do I look like the kind of person to lie? I'm offended, Michael. He laughed again, light and airy. But if I dared to look closer, I could tell it was fake. He probably didn't want to make our last moments tense and awkward. The least I could do was meet him halfway. Before long, we found ourselves walking down another path from Michael's. The route was different today, probably because he didn't have any detours in mind. We walked in silence for a while. The only thing accompanying us were the sounds of nature and our footsteps. I couldn't tell what Michael was thinking. I knew he wasn't the talkative type unless spoken to, but right now he seemed eerily quiet. His back was tense, his eyes looking nowhere but forward. My voice was itching to say something, anything, but it felt like the both of us had some thoughts to digest, despite it being easier to just say it out loud. Still, the silence was getting unbearable. So, we both halted in our steps at the sound of rustling, Michael's ear perking in a direction. What was that? His hands were already raising to hold his crossbow. Stay quiet. Stay close. I swallowed, my heart picking up speed. He started stalking low towards the source of the noise, boots barely making a sound compared to my clumsy footsteps. The rustling continued, sounding like a scuffle was occurring between the bushes. Closer, closer, until my ears picked up an unfamiliar high-pitched sound. It sounded like a tiny infant screaming. As morbid as that was, Michael actually relaxed as he recognized it. His steps hastened silently toward the source, crossbow lowering until we came across what exactly it was that caused the disturbance. A rabbit. Oh no, Bun Bun! Its small, delicate foot snagged in an old rusted trap. Its little body trembled as it breathed fast and shallow, no doubt scared out of its mind. Mike Michael regarded it emphatically before unloading his crossbow, disturbed by the caught rabbit, but at the same time relieved at the absence of a threat. It's just a rabbit. Sweeping the crossbow behind his back and out of sight, he looked at it for another moment before looking towards me. Let's keep going, then. My mouth dropped in shock. And leave that poor thing behind? He raised a brow, confused in my bewilderment. Yes, but it's going to die. His face twisted in confusion. That's generally what happens to prey animals, yes. He was so nonchalant about it, I had to keep my emotions in check. We can't do that. Look at it. His expression was understanding, if a little annoyed. I am. Someone left a trap. A rabbit gets caught in it. That's how it works. What do you want me to do? Set it free? Obviously. He was frowning now. I can't. If someone is nearby, they'll be suspicious how their catch got free. Does that matter? Animals escape traps all the time. The poor thing is suffering. Scar, I know you're smarter than this. If it doesn't die today, it'll die tomorrow. To a trap, to a fox, to a hunter. It probably won't even survive long with its injured foot if we set it free. You're prolonging the inevitable. Can't you put it out of its misery, then? He hesitated. Do you really want me to do that? No. But even then, we don't even know if anyone's coming back for it. The thing looks so old. He sighed impatiently, looking stubbornly in his direction. That's the point of the trap, is to keep things where they are until you come back. The way he said it just rubbed me the wrong way. He's being realistic, though. In a way, his logic made sense, but still, I could hardly believe how needlessly callous he was being. For someone so sweet, with his hens, he was so indifferent about the poor rabbit shaking at our feet. I looked down at it once more, my heart breaking as it started to squeak. Michael. My heart was torn as the rabbit helplessly kicked its feet, its cries weakening. For a moment, I imagined Kaiba being caught in a trap like this one, left to starve and die when someone could have been there to help him. No, we can't leave it like this. Please, Michael? His harsh gaze started to soften at my plea. Doesn't matter that much to you, Firefly. I nodded quickly without hesitation. Please. It'll be the last time I ever ask for anything. He paused for a moment before shaking his head with a defeated sigh. Somehow I doubt it's the last time. There was a smile in his voice, though. But all right. I'll do it for you. Stand back. I have to pry it open. My gratitude was clear on my face as he pulled out a deadly-looking hunting knife from his pocket. The terrified creature started to writhe all over again at the sign of a looming threat. Michael grunted as he held down firmly with one hand. It started to fall under his hold, relaxing completely with his foot hanging limp. Huh? He sure had a way with animals. I backed away to give him space, not wanting to distract him. He was working to free the rabbit. I looked around to take in my surroundings. The trees felt somewhat familiar, a flash of memory playing in my mind. Casting one glance towards Michael's back, I wandered a bit further away, making sure to stay within earshot. It took a few steps before I came across a familiar sight. Oh! It was the circle of mushrooms from the other day. I recalled that Kaiba was definitely here. I hesitated at the edges of it, a sourceless sense of fear suddenly coursing through me as I stared at it. Had it grown bigger? The longer I stood there, the more the fear dissipated, my limbs tingling pleasantly and urging me forward. Before I realized it, my foot was already lifting to approach it. Closer, closer. Staring at it, a fuzzy haze creeped over my mind. My face was warm. I found myself smiling at the oddly comforting familiarity, like recalling a fond memory, like greeting an old friend. I knelt down to inspect the growth, reaching out to brush my hand on one of the mushroom caps. Then someone yanked my wrist back. What? Don't. Huh? Don't touch those. I looked up to see Michael looming over me, gaze sharp and irises shaped like twin slivers. You have a terrible habit of wandering off, don't you? I gulped. How is the rabbit? Is it safe? Hi, Tox! His eyes narrowed as I flailed to change the subject. It's free, like you asked. Don't touch those. Michael squeezed my wrist before letting go. I rubbed my wrist. It didn't hurt, but his grip had intent. Why? What's wrong with them? Nothing. Just don't touch them. I just thought they looked pretty, that's all. Did you, though? I shook my head, feeling disoriented as my mind flickered between thoughts rapidly like a broken radio station. Michael snapped his fingers for my attention. Look at me, Firefly. His voice was snippy and irritated. I blinked rapidly to ground myself, scratching my head as I tried to gather my thoughts. Talk to me. Say anything. Some people think they're magic. Yeah, that's a pretty common belief with mushroom rings, isn't it? I hung on to that thought. Keep going. Like, related to fae folk, you know? It's why they're called fairy rings or a fairy circle. Michael squinted before easing, his demeanor just a little less tense compared to before. They do look like they could summon a portal at any moment, or whisk you away. I looked over at Michael, expecting him to look amused. Instead, he was glaring at the ground, as if the mushrooms were the most vile thing he'd ever seen. No. It's more of an invasive species than anything else. I followed his gaze toward the harmless circle of fungus. They are? Should we do something about it? He blinked as if coming out of a daze. No. Sorry, a thought just spilled out. He pinched his nose bridge, his normally soft voice a tired grumble. Normally I'd leave them alone to do their business, but having you here. Anyways, just don't touch it, okay? He was being far too uptight about something as trivial as a circle of mushrooms. It feels like there's more to it than that. His sigh was exasperated. They just grew in my part of the forest, is all. They make me uncomfortable. It definitely felt like Michael wanted to use a stronger word than uncomfortable, a barely concealed growl between his teeth. Why, I thought you liked mushrooms. Michael's ears flattened. Not these ones. They're not even real mushrooms. They're not? No. He seemed to hesitate before blurting. They just happen to mimic mushrooms. Oh, I've never heard of something like that. Though there are plenty of wild, foli- wild foliage out there that could copy the look of nearby plants. Does it have a name? His brows scrunched in confusion. What, them? Yeah, you know, as in the species? Oh, uh, I'm not entirely sure. I can recognize them by sight, though, so just stick with me when you're out in the woods, okay? I really don't want you anywhere near them. All right, if you say so. I just don't get how they could be invasive, is all. I consider it invasive when they come on my property. Is he really getting angry over cute mushrooms? I'm gonna be honest. You're acting really weird about it, Michael. He was getting more agitated the longer we stood there, hands clenching into tight fists. Scar, I know I ask a lot from you, but please, just leave them alone, okay? But why? Look, can we just... I flinched back away from him as his voice rang through the trees. A silence passed between us before he took a deep breath. I'm sorry. Please, can we step away from here? He held out his hand. His fingers were trembling. Oh boy, I shake my head. He looked dejected, but nevertheless accepted it with a gentle nod of his head. I'm really sorry for scaring you, Firefly. Are you okay? I'm fine, but don't ever yell at me like that again. His ears drooped, expression full of regret. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's get you home. Let's get me home. Michael took the lead, his footing sure and confident. He must have noticed my unsteady gait beside him as he subtly veered towards a clearer path I could easily follow. I didn't verbalize it, but I was definitely grateful for that. As much as the forest was growing on me, getting my feet caught in roots and twigs every few steps gets tiring after a while. Our steps fell into rhythm next to each other. I peeked at Michael every once in a while, trying to gauge his mood after what happened. Even after spending so much time with him, he was so difficult to read. How can someone both wear their heart on their sleeve, yet keep it stitched tight, never letting anyone come too close? I knew he had secrets he wanted to keep close to his chest, but I wish he'd open up to me a little. The silence that hung in the air was making my skin prickle. What's your favorite animal? I was so caught up in my thoughts, I didn't realize I blurted out the first thing that came to mind. Michael regarded me curiously, ears flicking. My favorite animal. He pursed his lips in thought before his ears perked. Jellyfish. I did a double take. It was one thing for him to have an answer so readily, but the choice was something else. A jelly? Why jellyfish? I thought it'd be, I don't know, a bird or something. He shrugged. They're pretty to look at. Plus, I kind of relate to them. He said that with zero hesitation. How exactly do you relate to a jellyfish? His expression faltered, as if deciding on the right way he could explain his answer. Let's just say I have something in common with a jellyfish. Well, one jellyfish. In what way? That they are pretty to look at? A strangled noise slipped past his throat. No, you wouldn't get it. Try me? No. I groaned like a dying whale in exasperation, shoulders slumped like I had a back problem. He was not going to elaborate any more, was he? He probably spotted the vein growing on my forehead as he snickered. Relax, Firefly. You're gonna faint on the spot if you think any harder. If you're allowed to get upset about mushrooms, I'm allowed to get upset about a jellyfish. His smile dropped for a second before his cheeky grin returned. Touch. Touch? Touch what? You know. Touch. I stared at him, his happy grin shifting into a confused frown. You know, touch. When, it's like that saying when you're right. You mean touche. He smiled innocently. Yeah. This man will be the death of me. He laughed at my screwed up grimace, waving his hand hastily. What about you? What's your favorite animal? Cats. He snorted, a fond smile on his lips. You know what? I don't even know why I bothered asking. Of course it's cats. What's that supposed to mean? He gave me a look. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know what you mean. He pretty much giggled in response. We continued with idle chatter after that. I don't even know how much time passed as the trees slowly thinned out, the sounds of nature muffling as the canopy started to grow sparse. Suddenly I heard a soft yet familiar rumble of a car in the distance. I almost didn't pick up on it, fully immersed in whatever Michael was rambling about. Something about the life cycle of a topsy-turvy doorknee, or whatever he called it. Oh, had we really walked that far already? I left Michael's side and rushed forward. He made a sound of surprise, but followed suit. I neared the edge of the forest just as another car drove past. I recognized my street instantly. Breaking into a light jog, I almost missed Michael calling for my name as I run down the road. There! My house was visible from where I stood by the street. I was breathing heavily by the time Michael approached my side, the man barely making a sound as I took in the sight. Oh, I missed this. I turned to thank Michael, only to startle when a bundled stranger took his place. Ah, sorry. People about. I couldn't see anyone around, but I guess he was right to be safe. I guess this was his version of a disguise. If I were to pass him on the street, I don't think I would have bothered to look twice. I mean, I want to say thank you to your face, but I'll settle for this, I guess. His chuckle was muffled underneath the scarf. He pulled it down so he could speak properly. Did I scare you? I got distracted. Michael's eyes squinted from where I could see them. I wonder how you don't get lost every 20 steps. Hey, he laughed at my offended tone. You better not go back in there. Got it? I'm not always going to be around to find you. Who says I need you around to find me? Almost instantly, his eyes hardened under his sunglasses. I'm serious. Don't go wandering in these woods again, or I might have to start taking drastic measures to make sure you stay put right where you are. I sputter indignantly. I'll wander where I please. Sure. He looked over my shoulder towards my house. So that's where you live, huh? Looks cozy. I wasn't sure if he was being genuine, considering he lived in the wooden back ends of the middle of nowhere. Suddenly I perked up with a thought. Do you want to come by? His eyes darted toward me, shock evident on his face. Me? To your home? I nodded. He froze completely. For a second I thought he stopped breathing. I looked to. The sudden barking and shout startled us both, my body jerking forward as his arm yanked me close. I heard the soft rustle of his sunglasses fell into I heard a soft rustle as his sunglasses fell into the grass from the sudden motion, his hastily worn beanie shaken off his head. Looking up, it was just my neighbor calling out to their dog. Oh, looks like Vita's back from college. I paused, feeling his grip tighten. I looked down at my hand on my shoulder before glancing up at him. Michael? He snapped back to the present, his hand releasing me quickly. Sorry. He looked toward my neighbor and their dog for another moment before turning back to me. I don't think it's a good idea for me to go with you. I don't want to be seen. I deflated just a little. But you have your disguise, don't you? He shook his head insistently. I can't risk it. It's better this way. He spoke with a finality that was starting to become familiar. If he wasn't willing, fine. At least I was. Before he could pick up his accessories, I gently grabbed his wrist. Then can I come visit you instead? What? I huffed impatiently. If you won't come to mine, then I'll go to yours. Once again he was rendered speechless. Why would you ever want to see me again? At this point, I was starting to look and sound peeved. For all his good traits, the constant need to build his walls higher around me was starting to get annoying. I folded my arms, looking stern. His eyes widened as if in preparation, his ears flattening like a cat in the middle of a scolding. Michael, can't you just accept the fact that maybe I enjoy your company and wouldn't mind more? I'm sorry, nobody's ever... But you wanted to go home so badly. Oh, this man is hopeless. Yes, of course I do. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna forget about you completely. Besides, I promised I'd show you what phones do, didn't I? Dismissing the fact that there was probably not much I can show when there's no data in the woods, I'm sure he'll be enthralled by whatever dinky mobile game I had installed at the time. The point was, I just wanted to see him again. So that means I get to see you again. I picked up on the eager tone in his voice, realizing he wished for the same sentiment. Yeah, I want to. My voice wobbled for a second. Firefly. He cleared his throat, laughing to himself. Scar, you can't imagine how much this means to me. A lot. It means a lot. More than you know. I nodded, a giddy smile creeping onto my face. How's next weekend? He tilted his head. That's 7 sundowns from now? 5. His smile widened, his eyes squinting in absolute delight. Okay, I'll meet you here then. I smiled at him, figuring this was goodbye. We're about to leave Michael behind. And we're gonna give him a hug. I didn't think twice. Arms spread and wrapped around him before he could react. Michael froze from head to toe, sharply as his shoulders tensed. For a second, I thought I'd triggered a fight or flight response. It took a few seconds before he shifted to reciprocate, gently placing his hands on the small of my back. In a loose hold, fingertips splayed awkwardly along my spine. He seemed to gain confidence as he wrapped his arms around me properly, a shaky sigh leaving his body as he relaxed. A faint rhythmic rumble emitted from his chest, my eyes widening at the strange feeling. Was he purring? I knew I heard that sound before, but he was definitely purring. I didn't have time to dwell on it for long. His grip was getting tighter, tighter, tighter. I was about to sputtle out a gentle protest when another car passing by made him jump and release me. I had to step away to catch my breath after the squeeze. His arms dropped to his sides with a blank stare in my direction. Uh-oh. Out of the corner of my eye, I could see his hands clenching tightly, as if holding himself back. I looked up at him, expecting him to say something first. Instead, he just stared at me like I grew a third eye. I quickly cleared my throat, cheeks starting to burn. Anyways, I gave him one last light punch to the shoulder. It felt like punching a sack of grains. See you next weekend. Ignoring the heat on my face, I looked both ways before jogging across the street. My neighbor in their yard looked up as I approached, their eyes lighting up in recognition. Scar? Their hands fidgeted with a frisbee in their hand as they approached. Even their loyal Leica followed close behind. I was wondering where you've been. I dropped by to give you some cake over the weekend, but you weren't home, and you didn't answer your phone, and your packages were piling up at the door, and... I held my hands up in a placating gesture. Vita, I'm fine. At our feet, Leica was dutifully pawing at their elbow to calm them down. Their mouths stopped midway, through another sentence, blinking rapidly. Sorry. They reached down and pat Leica's head, significantly calmer as they asked me again. Where were you? Where have you been? I was, visiting a friend. For a digital detox? Off the grid and all that. They blinked slowly, nodding. Oh, that sounds exciting. By the tone of their voice, they didn't mean that at all. What about Kaiba? Did you manage to find him? My mood instantly dropped. No. That is why I went away in the first place, you could say. It took a few seconds for Vita to understand what I meant. I'm sorry. It's fine. They straightened, a flash of empathy on their face before they smiled. Well, Leica and I are around for the semester break if you need anything. We should do a movie night. Maybe that'll lift your spirits. I found this really good one. I think you'll like it. I did some research and I feel like it's right up your alley. Leica and I could take a quick drive to the store, so just let us know when you're up for it. If I could get your favorite snacks and stuff. Leica gave a happy bark at the familiar word. A fond smile quirked at my lips. Thank you, Vita. I'll bring the orange soda. Their expression lit up happily. Take care. I bid them both goodbye to walk up to my driveway. Once I got to my door, I had the urge to turn around one last time. I was surprised to see Michael still standing by the forest edge, shadowed by the trees. Our eyes made contact, his own fierce piercing yellows shining against the shade. I gave him a big wave. It took a moment before he waved back. Smiling to myself, I unlocked the front door and let myself inside. It was surreal standing in my doorway again. I felt like Alice, who had just woke up at the end of the book, feeling like I dreamed of Wonderland. I tossed my keys in my backpack by the hall carelessly before plugging my phone into the charger. I dreaded playing catch up with the people who might have tried to reach me during my absence. Work, family, friends. I groaned aloud, flopping onto the living room couch. Ah well, at least I had this weekend to look forward to. Oh, that's all of day 3 from Mushroom Oasis, the demo. Alright, it looks like we made it all the way through day Mushroom Oasis. That was a pretty good one. I enjoyed it. Not as It's more of a like subtle kind of yandere going on. You can tell that he's like having those moments where he doesn't want her to go, doesn't want her to leave, and he's doing some like mind mess. Like he's messing with her brain, clearly. Whatever that pink stuff is that he kind of emits, it makes her brain all fuzzy, messes with her memories. So we can see that he definitely has all those yandere tendencies. But it's just more subtle. He's pretty sweet, pretty cute. And I really like this one. This one was nice. I can't wait till there are more updates. So we're gonna quit because we went all the way through it. Man, it took us 3 hours to get through that. Holy. Maybe I'll do 14 nights with you another time then. So that was an exciting. I'm sorry that that was an exciting game. I am sorry that I did not get a chance to do it yesterday on Valentines. I had gotten pretty sick. I mentioned it at the beginning of stream, and I'm like repeating it now. But again, I am doing worlds better than I was. So there's that. So let's see. I'm gonna end stream. Oh, no. So let's see who's around. Oh boy. Let's see. Who's around? Who is around? Hmm. Okay. Well, it doesn't look like anybody is around. So. We are going to probably raid out to one of the animal channels. Let me see. Let's see. I'm checking. Alright, guys. I'm going to send you all over to the trash pandas. So I hope you enjoyed the stream. I'll be back next time when I am able to stream again. I hope you all have a nice night, good sleeps wherever you are, or good day if it is daytime for you. Until next time, you guys go enjoy the trash pandas, and I will see you another time. Bye, chat.